Peace, my family, and wow, back to all those coming out of that good cocoon for the first time. Welcome. This your girl, the butterfly. We about to take off. Let's fly. Just want to send you all that good healing energy your way. Peace, love, happiness, harmony, and abundance. Hope you guys are out there keeping your mind right. Oh yeah, in that good not mind. How y'all feeling? Hope you guys most definitely moving on up. That's right, in your higher nature, family, and most definitely cleansing. Because if you don't know, now you know. Oh yeah, we must cleanse. That's right. The lower frequencies. All right. So I came in here today to share. This is the Holy Tablets, family. This right here will certainly help you on this good journey. The Great Book of the Living, the Holy Tablets. All right. So let's get to it. This is speaking on melanin. This is part 2 to the last video I did, which is what is the importance of melanin, right? So this right here will certainly help you get going. All right, so let's get to it. It says melanin is deranged only when it becomes toxic, and any individuals who might have toxic melanin will act in a very similar manner. That which is primitive, right? Animalistic, right? And barbaric. This is why there is a great concentration on drugging the Nubians of the Western world. Melanin has physical properties and personality traits, right? Which distinguished from it from others, right? Melanin smells sweet. Your body is dedicated to making melanin, which has nine substances of its own. As long and this is as you eat reasonably, right? Wake up, my child, for the time is near. Each cell in the human body needs its own oxygen carried by the blood. Human blood is similar to chlorophyll of the plant life, right? Human blood has two main constituents, and the cells are corpuscles and comprised of 45% and the liquid portion or plasma in which the cells are suspended comprises 55%. The blood cell comprises three main types. You have the red blood cells, the white blood cells, which in turn are many different types, right? As I was saying, the third platins or thyrocytes. Each type of cell has its own individual function in the human body. Plasma, the colorless solution, is 90% water. It creates different ions and molecules, including proteins, enzymes, hormones, nutrients, and waste materials such as urea, which is a compound of nitrogen waste found in the urine. The fibrinogen is the protein that creates the clot that becomes the congealed blood when the water is removed and hydrates and returns to the dust or to dust. The substance in the red blood cells that is largely responsible for their ability to carry oxygen and carbon dioxide is the hemoglobin, right? And the material that gives the cells the red color. It is a protein complex comprising many linked animal sites or amino acids and occupies almost the entire volume of red blood cells. Essential to its structure and function is iron, right? Iron is needed now solely for the magnesium in the blood that keeps the involuntary functions of the body working properly, right? Its atomic number is 55.847. Its chemical symbol is Fe, and atomic number is 26. When these two processes of the blood occur, the physical part of the being created his skin of the soul of Gaia and the living organism called Earth, whose essence is soil, right? This Gaia, also called Gaia, is in fact a living organism named after the Greek goddess Gaia, or Pamoja, or Pamogia, or Pan Gaia, meaning all land, and that one landmass being Earth, right? Which physical and chemical conditions exist on the surface within the interior, within the atmosphere and the oceans. It was always in existence and always active, okay? For it's a living entity, okay? One that was made to suit the conditions to exist within the boundless universes. For Gaia is a living entity, okay? Existing within the all of Kalun. Gaia has been and always will be prosperous, having favorable conditions, causing the presence of life itself to be thought of as significant. Any species is, of course, a key development of this living organism called Gaia. Yet, because your existence came along so far after the creation of Gaia, originally called Tiamat, it is inappropriate to question whether life of any species has a significant meaning to why Gaia came about, right? Know that Gaia is a complex entity involving the Earth's biosphere. It is a self-regulated organism that grows and has climate changes, right? Gaia is living matter. The air, the oceans, the landmass forms this now complex system which has the capability to keep it existing. Why call Earth a planet when 3/4 pictures are taken of it from above? It appears to be a blue sapphire, and know that water is a part of the mechanism that helps keep the planet running, okay? It transforms the radiant energy from upstream the sun into the motion of the air and water, which in turn attributes this energy all over the Gaia. Gaia runs off the cybernetics, which is a self-regulating system of communications and control in the living organisms and machines. Thus, when the physical part of the being is created, your skin, your jadok or the jadok, is the soil of Gaia, the living organism called Earth, and your very essence is soil. With their contents, right? With their content begins the process as rusting and manifests itself in a copper tone. When this oxygen is removed and oxidation begins and the being returns to its original state as the greenest olive, this animate being mixed with the abducted black man called in Hindu, having 6 ether hair mixed to manifest a child of the Elohim having 7, right, and 1/2 ether hair. This his mate Nukebao, Eve, being unmixed, right, undiluted and untampered, possess the holy gene, the 9 ether, woolly, kingly hair, right? Yet her skin tone was at the beginning of the melanin process. She was of the yellow seed, not the red, the brown, nor the black. You were created to be slaves, to work the mines for the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki. As the Lulus multiplied, the Anunnaki began to basically cobulate with them, and the level of sexual interest had gotten a little out of hand, and this made Enlil angry. Enlil never thought that the Lulus would be given the capabilities to reproduce without the absolute control of the Anunnaki. The unique characteristics of the Lulu, telepathic abilities, added an unknown thrill to the sexual experience. The word got out around that the gods were running off into the woods, float-licking and reproducing with the Lulus. In those times, birth was not a painful process that you know today. Birth was easy and a time to be at one with Mother Ninti, the goddess of all life. It was a time to experience union with the cosmos, to bring forth more experiences of the prime creator, not of pain, okay? The Anunnaki, Anunnaki, and the Lulus enjoyed being pregnant. Every birth brought more Lulus and more festivals and more fun and beer. The grains that grew on earth developed the most delicious beers, ales, and mead, and alcohol made from fermented honey and water. Enlil became more and more disturbed by the loose copulation of the Anunnaki with the Lulus, and he thought that our genetic lineage were being corrupted by such uncontrolled crossbreeding, and he was angry at the proliferation of the Lulus, and and Enlil began to think of ways to cut down the Lulu's population. By this time, there were many social, you know, um, there was many social hierarchies among the Lulus, and there was great discussion as to who had the most Anunnaki blood and who was related to which Anunnaki and how long their lineage was. Enlil became more upset at the thought of the Lulu's population overrunning Earth, and he wanted to get rid of them, right? Enlil called a meeting of the family and he demanded that something be done about the Lulus and began to state his views of the matter. His brother Enki completely disagreed. Enki complained after all the work he and Ninti had done to create such sufficient workers, it was absurd to even consider destroying them. They were needed in the gold mines, and the brothers ranted and raved as usual. Enlil's wrath was unchangeable despite his brother's pleas, and the sons of Enlil and Enki joined in arguing, both sides raging for a time. But in the end, because he is the number one son, Enlil prevailed. His plan would not kill them all, just those unfortunate enough to starve to death. And so the first famine was arranged. As Enki and his sons left the meeting, they formulated a plan to defeat Enlil. And famine spread across the land, and some fountains were smudged, and the Lulus and most survived, right? Enlil commanded the communications from the space station orbiting the Earth. He was the first to learn of the coming polar shift. High above the Earth, and the orbiting astronauts began to observe magnetic fluctuations and the invisible wobbling. The axis of the planet was about to reverse itself, and Enlil kept these observations secret. He determined to wait until the last possible moment so that there will be only enough time to transfer the families of Anu and the Anunnaki to the orbiting stations. He made certain there could not be sufficient time to rescue the Lulus. The spies of Enki had informed him of the polar shift, and every 50,000 years called an epoch in all the ancient cultures of the earth. There are stories of floods and one man who was saved in an ark. Enki chose that man, and it was not the first of the floods of Taman. That was only one of many. Knowing there would be a great flood, Enki resolved to save at least one family of Lulus. He picked a man from his own gene pool, and there was no ark, right? There was no ark. It was a craft, or what you might call a submarine. And the animals, 2 by 2, were actually samples of the genetic material makeup and stored, right, appropriately stored, so that they might later be able to be recreated, or so they might later be recreated, right? Defying Enlil, Enki rescued the Lulus. When Enlil found out about the surviving Lulus, Enlil was angry, And he and his sons accused Enki and his sons. Enlil said that Enki defied the laws of Anu, and Enki made a great speech where he said, in the greatness of his visionary wisdom, Enlil had been fated to engineer a method of sorting through the rubbish of the species to arrive at the primal genetic material of all the Lulus. And if these long survivals were deemed to live through the horrors of the indulged, their genes must be worthy of serving Anu and the Numerians. Enlil agreed, and each member of the family of Anu then swore a vow to each other. All matter of laws were subsequently made to regulate the population and the breeding of the Lulus. Alright, so that was the end of that tablet. So that is a good place to stop for now. Alright, now if you are interested in this and you want to know the story of the Anunnaki and what happened here trillions of years ago, it's on the channel just for you. The truth of it all. Man, oh man. And the truth is bittersweet, but it begins to have a sense of freedom once you begin to understand the things that the Most High wanted you to know, right? So begin to work your way back in and beyond the stars, the heavens, right? So it's a good place to stop for now. Alright? It's good to know, and renewing your history and knowing the whole truth, right? So I'm going to leave it at that for now. Again, I want y'all all to know that you are loved beyond this world. Oh yeah, you are. And in it, begin to spread that love, family, one to another. Be the peace that you seek. Release our master teacher, Dr. Malachi Zurich L. Peace, salam, ashuk, divine love, family, and wadu. And it's all love.